Hello everybody, thank you for joining me. My name is David. Today is Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day, June 1st. It's something that somebody has put into place a few years ago, and I think it's wise for any of you who can relate to this narcissistic abuse, who suffered from it, recovering from it, any of this, to take action, to do something active today would be wonderful. Go ahead and go down below in the comment section and recommend things you can do. But the simple and easiest and one that I think of is support people. Support people that are doing free work and doing work like this for the community, right? Another way you can help is support Shane's Law petition. Shane is somebody who took his own life because of a narcissistic smear campaign, very intrusive campaign that lasted for a very long time, and he had nowhere to go, nowhere to turn, no help for him. And Shane sadly took his own life, but somebody that cared for Shane started a petition in his name so he won't die in vain. You could go to the link below into the description, go down in there and just take the link and just sign it, say you agree, so this can start being law. This kind of public attacks. That would be wonderful. And suggest other channels do the same if you guys could. You could take this link or use this video or something and just go to other narcissist channels and ask them to support Shane's Law. Who wouldn't want to support something like that? This kind of public attack and public smearing people needs to stop, right guys? People are committing suicide from it. I've suffered and so many others have. That would be wonderful if you could spread that around. And it's something for people to do today to help on Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day, isn't it? People don't really know what to do. Support this and spread it around to other channels. Thank you. I like to make a suggestion every single week. This time I'm going to suggest something that I myself have not used. And I am not co-signing this in any way. I'm just trying to come up with things every week to suggest that may help, may or may not, but I'm thinking this may help. Someone that I hold a reliable source told me that this really helps them. They really love it. It's an acupressure spike mat. It's a mat you lay on. It's got nails, but with a cover over the nails, but you can still feel it. And it's to use pain to produce specific hormones to counter pain, which also benefits in other ways, such as reducing stress by reducing aches and pains for people that have fibromyalgia. It reduces cortisol, and it helps you be happy, peace, calmness, relaxation, and better sleep. You can do this before bed. It helps with anxiety, and it helps promote oxytocin, which is one of the hormones that you guys need badly if you keep thinking about your abuser and want them back but can't figure out why, and you think the world's a bad place and you don't trust people. This might help. Okay? I'll put a link down below in the description box. That'll take you to none other than Amazon to purchase one of those, or look into it if you guys are interested. So, for those of you who are new here, thank you for joining us. Please, you can support me by subscribing to my channel, voting up or down, telling me why, asking questions, tell us where you are at, promoting me by suggesting this video, put it in a playlist, things like that, okay? Thank you. I'm answering people's questions every single week. If you guys have one, go down below into the comment section, ask me anything you want, and I'll answer it next Monday. So that's when I do these, every single Monday. So let's get started with the first question. Is from Jennifer in Northern California. Hello, Jennifer. Jennifer says or asks, my covert narcissist husband asked me why I'm so sad. I told him it's because I felt very lonely in this marriage. His response was, you live in a house that you own and you have a daughter. Why are you still sad? David, I don't understand what he meant. Just because I have a daughter and own a house, that should automatically make me a happy person. David, how do you interpret what he said? What the heck is wrong with him? I'm about to leave this abusive relationship after a decade. Thanks, David. Love your videos. Jennifer from Northern California. Thanks, Jennifer. So, going by that he's actually a covert narcissist, right, like I said, but we don't even need to really, because his response is just like many of or let's say he was raised under the pretext that all that matters is what you do, not how you feel inside, only outside. How you look, how much money you make, your job, your family, your car, all that stuff. Outside, external things. He was brought up that that's what's valuable, and he believes it. We were brought up that's what's valuable, but we don't believe it. So he says, and it's just like any midlife crisis, guys. Midlife crisis is because we're told what's important to us, and it's all about things we must do, so it takes time to achieve it, which is right around the middle of our life, isn't it? To achieve a college education, a family, children, career, house, car. 40, 45, 50, right? And then we get it, and it's critical time because we're not happy. And so this person thinks that you just need a house and children, right? And then what's left? Career, car, money, looks. That's what he values, and he thinks that's what means you're happy, which is not true. He was taught that, and he now values that himself. And I'd imagine he's due for a midlife crisis himself. I hope that makes sense, Jennifer. If it doesn't, please ask me again. Thanks. Vanessa from Latin America. Hello, Vanessa. Thank you for answering my question, and sorry if I ask again. That's okay. Please keep asking. Is just that when I asked you about closure last time, what I meant was I said to my ex, I don't want us to be enemies, and forgive me for what I did wrong in our relationship. He texted me back calm and in a respectful way, which is not like him. I thought he was going to blame me for the ending of our relationship, but surprisingly he didn't. He wrote, "You are right. I wish you a full life of emotional and spiritual recovery," and then he blocked me again. I thought he was going to text, "I'm sorry too," or something else. I don't know. He left me more confused. So the thing is, sometimes I'm not sure if he is or has NPD or what. Is it the cognitive dissonance, what I'm going through? Sometimes he was the kindest person, sometimes mean and cold because of something. I get it. I just made a video. Today's Monday, June 1st. I just made a video 2 days ago going through the diagnostic criteria, helping you determine if people, loved ones, have the disorder. Maybe that'll help you, Vanessa. So I obviously I don't know what he's thinking, how he's feeling. I don't know why he said that. I can only guess. If he does have narcissistic personality disorder, he's probably not too genuinely means that, but on the outside it looks good for anybody else watching or looking. Maybe he's more willing to be nice about leaving because he's got what he wants temporarily. They never have what they want permanently because it's all external. So maybe he's got that new girlfriend he's all excited about, and he's not so angry at you or anything. Just, okay, yeah, good. I wish you luck. Bye. Maybe he's so ashamed of himself of how he treated you. Okay, I didn't say he's sorry. Maybe he's ashamed of himself, how he treated you, how he treated people. He doesn't want anyone to know. He doesn't want to talk about it, address it. If he could just say that to you and be done with it, great. Things like that, right? I don't know. I hope that makes sense. I think maybe it's something like that, right? And any single act doesn't mean that someone has a personality disorder, and it doesn't mean they don't. So if he has NPD, just doing that doesn't mean he doesn't. Fleeting moments, what look like maybe empathy and maturity, kindness, no, that doesn't mean you don't have a personality disorder. These guys, most aren't total monsters every second. That's why we all dated them, right? There's good times, good parts, good moments. There's one of them. Kind of came unexpectedly, didn't it? Right? But if you look at it, I think a lot of things he's done is unexpectedly. Probably impulsive, unstable. If you're expecting it to be so nasty and disgusting, and it wasn't. I'll just read. You had more. The last thing I know is that he was still alone and did not cheat on me. I don't have any proof, at least. He is a leader in recovery process groups. I am in CODA, which makes it difficult for me since almost everything reminds me of him. I don't know why, because you're both are in those type of groups and that reminds you of him. his so-called good advice about life and emotions, 12-step programs, God, etc., the things he preaches. I know it's confusing. It's hard for me to explain, but I know you will get my idea. I would like some insights from you, and I really value your thoughts too. Well, I think it's what's important is not to focus on the things he says. That was all things he says, isn't it? What does he do? What does he do? Does he abuse you? Okay, and you don't look at moments like that to say he abuses you. When you're at home, does he abuse you? Has he ever tried to hurt you on purpose, intentionally? Silent treatment. You said he's never cheated on you. Silent treatment. Has he ever hit you, touched you, grabbed you, pushed you? Has he ever sat there and called you bad names, yelled at you, shouted at you, scared you? Has he ever threatened to leave you? Has he ever, I mean, there's all kinds of different abuse. Has he abused you? Okay, that's important, right? Because those aren't just mistakes. You don't mistakenly abuse people. I don't. You either abuse people or you don't. So that's what you look at, right? But go through the criteria yourself if you want to. If you need more help, hire somebody else to help you. Thanks. And keep asking me more questions if you had more questions about that. Shelly from California. Hello, Shelly. Have you found that most people with CPTSD have struggled with school? I was struggling in school to the point that they put me in special ed, which I think I made things even worse. I wish people had focused more on my mental health instead. There has to be a better way for schools to help kids with these issues. It's very interesting to me. I'd like to learn more about all the ways trauma affects the developing brain. Trauma affects the brain in all kinds of different ways. And there's all kinds of different trauma, Shelley. And we all react differently to trauma, okay? So I'm not going to sit here and tell you exactly what your brain's done or anybody else's or how it's reacted to this. I'm just going through some notes I have. Signs of PTSD can range from flashbacks to nightmares, panic attacks to eating disorders, cognitive delays to lowered verbal memory capacity. Lowered verbal memory capacity, cognitive delays. Trauma survivors also encounter substance abuse issues as they attempt to self-medicate the negative effects of PTSD. Symptoms can take 3 months to years to show up, and a lifetime without treatment. I mean, you've got memory loss, attention, focus problems. Think how many children have ADHD or responding or reacting to trauma. I think a lot. If you really want to understand trauma, I would start with neglect. Childhood neglect is extremely traumatic. I've talked about this so much. Some doctors believe we have thousands and thousands of different emotions that our body's doing. Children can't regulate them at all. They need parents to regulate them all the time, so they never experience danger. And if they don't, they ignore them, neglect them, fight, they're drunk, they fall asleep, they aren't there. They're being traumatized by their own emotions. It's horribly, painfully, psychologically damaging in adulthood. But yeah, it's very interesting though, Shelley. Keep learning, keep asking questions, okay? Thanks. Hi, David. Sharon from Tasmania asking for advice on a situation. Hi. I'm now in with my ex-psychopath. There was a court case between us for him breaching my AVO. He pled guilty, got off scot-free, and I didn't get to tell my story or face him in court. So this didn't sit well with me. He's dangerous. He told me he'd come back one day to kill me. I have solid proof of what he did to me, and I could try to make him accountable and put him in jail. But the thing is, I want to move on, not live in the dark shadows. So I'm asking everyone, what would you do, please? Fight or flight? You know, first, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry, Sharon. I'm sorry for what he's done. Sorry for all your suffering. I'm sorry it's been so hard to get help and you haven't gotten the help you wanted or looking for. You don't have to give up. You can keep fighting. You can find a new lawyer, stuff like this. But as far as advice on what to do, I'm really careful about that. I don't like telling people what to do. I just don't. What anybody else thinks you should do really doesn't matter either. You know? I think it's important for you to decide what you want to do, and then we all tell you, yeah, go ahead, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What's important is how you feel, okay? So I'm not going to tell you to keep fighting if you don't want to. I'm not going to tell you to give up if you want to fight, right? So I can only ask you what you want, and then that's what you should do, okay? I'm really sorry. I hate seeing stuff like this because I know how frustrating it can be to not get the help that you really need. I think we're socially evolving and we'll get there someday, just not there yet. Anybody else want to offer advice, go ahead. But I recommend everybody be careful of telling people what to do. Thanks. Hi, David. I'm Fahad from India. Hello, Fahad. I already asked a question where I wanted to know if my dad was borderline. But I also want to ask a second question. Well, the first question I just want to get to now. I don't think I saved it. I answered it to you directly, though. I can't sit there and tell you what people are. I'm not going to. That is diagnosing people. I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose people. I'd imagine I can give my opinion if I want to, but it's not worth anything. For you to tell me some stuff about somebody else and for me to sit there and tell you they have a personality disorder is not right. It's just not right for me to do that for you or do that to them. And it's just, we don't do that. I did make a video, however, yesterday about, I think it's, are they actually a borderline? And I go down the criteria, just like I did for the narcissist video on Saturday, 2 days ago. Please watch that and tell me what you think. You got questions on that, go ahead and ask down below of that video and I'll help you try to figure it out. But I went through each of the criteria and I tried to explain it really well for you. I hope that makes sense. I can't tell you guys what disorder they have. I mean, you know, and even if I could try, I would just sit there and be like, that sounds a little borderline-ish. That sounds a little, maybe it's this. Yeah, how would I know? And it's just not right to do that, okay? But let's get on to this question. So this is regarding my play of an online multiplayer game called, I'm not even going to say it, online gaming. So there was a time before I enrolled in med school where I was supposed to just sit at home and wait. This was a 6-month period. I had applied to colleges. Lots of story here. Well, I had to sit at home. So you applied for college, you're waiting for results, and you started playing this online game. You said you had to sit at home all the time. During this time, I didn't want to talk to anyone or see anyone. I was also abused daily at my home, and I was being controlled. I was an atheist, but I was forced to pray by my religious narc mom. So I started playing this game. It's 1 hour long and very immersive. I used it to end my days quickly and to forget about the pain I was facing in my house. Then you go on to your hobbies prior. You did this whole, you played the game when you're stuck with your family. You just want to know, it wasn't giving you that much pleasure or meaning, but it blocked your mind and focused you on making you forget about your surroundings and family. And so you wanted to know if it was some type of dissociation. And just playing video games, escaping, right? Which a lot of kids and even some adults do. And there's all kinds of different forms of escaping like that. It's not necessarily dissociation. There's actually something going on when you dissociate. And you could be. I don't know. I wouldn't know. Maybe asking you more questions about it. Feeling totally disconnected, out of touch. Feeling like your surroundings were unreal, fake. While you're playing the game, then maybe. But you know, it's just a way. It's things we do as humans to escape when we feel like we can't. You know. Sorry, I couldn't help you more on that. I don't, doesn't necessarily mean it's that you're dissociating. No. Thank you, though. Thanks, Fud. Joey from Northern California. Hello, Joey. Do you believe a borderline personality bipolar mom can raise healthy children? I don't want to say no. She often punches her husband in front of her children and grandchildren, then gaslight. Okay, no. She often punches her husband in front of her children and grandchildren, then gaslight him into saying she had never punched him. He then said, "You never punched me." Her son is a mama boy who seems shy, hypersensitive, no empathy, defensive, and rageful. He has no friends. Mama is his best friend. Her daughter seems angry and mean all the time. What's the likelihood that this family can become healthy one day? Not likely. Nope. Especially at mom's age. Doesn't sound like mom ever will. I'd bet on that. And the children, you know, one thing we have to remember and keep mind of is when we wonder if people are going to change, okay? And this is where good and bad messes us all up, right? Because our idea of good and bad is different, right? So if a narcissist's values are totally different than yours, which, believe me, they are, they better be, they should be, or you're a narcissist. Narcissistic values are totally different than ours. And you want to know if they're going to change that. Why would they? Someone that's not trying to get help. Someone that doesn't admit they have a problem. And you want them to change. And you want them to be a certain way that you want them to be. Maybe more like you. I'd rather go meet somebody that's like you instead of hoping and trying to change somebody to make them more like you or how you want them to be. I hope that makes sense. What are the odds this family will become healthy one day? I don't know. Do they try to be? If not, then odds are probably 0. Yeah, too hard for me to answer questions like that, but I appreciate your questions. Your question, Joey. Sad family. I don't know if that's yours. Our lad from Ireland. Hello. Do you think that self-hatred is the narcissist's biggest hang-up? That they do everything because they hate themselves, and can that be loved out of them? Thanks from Ireland. It can't be loved by somebody else. It has to be them. So no, you can't love it out of them. No. Much more complex than that. Maybe they can love themselves out of it. I don't know. Maybe they don't even know what love is. Maybe they don't care about love. Maybe they want you to change just as much as you want him to change or them to change. Maybe they want you to be more like them. I don't know. I mean, here's that same thing, right? Isn't it kind of where we want someone to change? And then I understand. We want people to be nice and healthy and treat people well. That's good, right? And abuse and sick and hatred, self-hatred is all bad, right? So don't they want to be good? It's just too much perspective. It's too subjective. Good and bad just screws us all up. Trust me. Trust me. Thanks, but no. It's not something you love out of somebody. I just wanted to read this from 25 Johees. I was in this road working to my parents for free so many years. My education, my money, my hobbies and dreams were stolen in my face, and still they were expecting more attention, money, gifts, and appreciation every day. It's never enough to the narky parents. They want more and more because they are my parents and I live. We don't get full again. Yeah, it's up to us to someday learn to stop, isn't it? These things we don't do for other people. They need to learn how to do them for themselves. This is the root. This is what codependency is, isn't it? Emotional dependency. Because you're not talking about just money and stuff. You're talking about emotional support. And they probably exploit people. They're exploiting you. You are a source of their need, right? You're just a source. That's it. Sick. I'm sorry. Lifetime, childhood at least, of exploitation. I hope you're out of it and away from it. Thank you. And let's see. I'm going to stop right here for part 1, and I'll start part 2 in a few minutes. Again, for Narcissist Abuse Awareness Day, try to do something to support, something, be active, be proactive, do something today. It'd be great. It'd feel good. You could support that Shane's Law petition. Thanks, guys. Love yourself first. I'll see you in part 2. Bye.